It was supposed to be a quiet, relaxing weekend on the lake. I had just bought a brand new fishing boat, a sleek, white beauty with twin motors and polished chrome that gleamed under the sun. I'd been waiting all week to finally take it out. And my plan was simple: park it at the community dock, grab a cold drink, and enjoy the sunset. But as I backed the boat into my slip, I noticed a familiar glare from the other side of the dock. Karen, the self-proclaimed enforcer of our homeowners association. Her arms were crossed so tightly it looked like she was trying to squeeze the life out of her clipboard. She marched toward me, heels clacking like a metronome of fury. "Excuse me," she barked. "You can't park that thing here. This dock is for residents only." I blinked, a bit confused. "I am a resident," I said, still holding my rope. "And this is my assigned slip." Karen snorted. "Nice try. I've never seen you before, and I manage the HOA directory. You're not listed. I'll have to report this unauthorized use." Before I could even respond, she whipped out her phone, tapping 911 like she was defusing a bomb. "Yes, hello. This is Karen from the Lakeside Estates, HOA. There's a man trespassing. With a boat, yes, right now." I almost laughed. People were watching now, neighbors sipping drinks, a couple of teenagers pretending not to film. The absurdity was unreal. When the sheriff's deputy arrived, Karen immediately ran up to him. "Officer, this man is illegally docking here. He doesn't even live in our community." The deputy looked from her to me, clearly tired of this kind of nonsense. "Sir, can I see some ID?" "Of course," I said calmly, handing him my driver's license and then my property deed. Karen craned her neck, trying to see. I gave her a polite smile. "You see, officer, not only do I live here, I actually own the entire dock. Bought it last year when the HOA couldn't afford maintenance." The deputy raised an eyebrow, then chuckled. "Well, ma'am," he said to Karen, "seems like you might be the one trespassing on his property." Karen's jaw dropped. Her face went pale, then red. "That can't be true," she sputtered. "Oh, it's true," I said, tying my boat down leisurely. "And you might want to check the HOA budget somehow. Your maintenance fees now go directly to me." The lake was quiet for a moment, except for the sound of Karen's blood boiling. After the deputy left, Karen stormed off, muttering something about calling the HOA board immediately. I figured that was the end of it. So I spent the afternoon fishing, grilling some burgers, and enjoying the peace I'd earned. But the next morning, I woke up to find a bright orange notice of violation taped to my front door. Big, bold letters screamed, "Unauthorized dock usage. Immediate removal required, or fine will be issued." I couldn't help but laugh. Karen had actually printed and delivered a violation notice to the man who owned the very property she was complaining about. I decided to pay her a friendly visit. She lived 3 houses down, of course, in the one with perfectly trimmed hedges and live, laugh, love signs everywhere. She opened her door before I could knock twice. "Oh, it's you," she said coldly. "Here to apologize?" "Apologize? For using my own dock?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light. Karen crossed her arms. "We have rules in this community, sir. You can't just bring in a boat without approval. It's unsightly. Lowers property values." I pulled out my phone and opened an email from the county land records office. Actually, according to this document, the dock isn't HOA property. The HOA leased it from the previous owner. I purchased it outright when the lease expired. Her smirk faltered. "That's impossible." "We pay for dock maintenance every year." "Yes," I said, to me. "That's why my boat has a permanent slip, because technically, you're all renting from me." She went quiet for a moment, but then that trademark Karen energy came roaring back. "Well, I'll bring this up at the next HOA meeting. You'll see, we'll vote you out." "You can't vote out a property owner," I replied, chuckling. "But feel free to put it on the agenda." That evening, I received a flood of emails from other residents. Apparently, Karen had sent out a community-wide notice titled, "Urgent Dock Trespasser Threatens HOA Authority." The comments were gold. "Karen, isn't that the same guy who fixed the broken dock lights?" "Wait, he owns the dock? Why are we paying him? Maybe let the man enjoy his boat, Karen." By sunset, I sat on the dock again with a drink in hand, watching the light ripple across the lake. Karen was pacing on her porch, fuming, phone glued to her ear. Little did she know this was only the beginning of her unraveling. The next week, The HOA announced a mandatory emergency meeting at the clubhouse. The subject line? Dock ownership dispute. Immediate action required. I knew exactly who was behind it. Karen wanted a public spectacle, and honestly, I was happy to give her one. When I arrived, nearly every homeowner was there. Karen stood at the front, papers in hand, eyes gleaming with self-righteous fury. "Thank you all for coming," she began, voice dripping with authority. "As you know, a certain individual has illegally claimed ownership of our community dock." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I raised my hand. "You mean me?" Karen's fake smile didn't falter. "Yes, you. You see, Mr. Thompson here believes he owns what rightfully belongs to the HOA, but I have documentation showing this dock has always been community property." She dramatically waved a stack of printed PDFs like they were evidence in court. "Mind if I respond?" I asked calmly. Karen shrugged. "By all means." I pulled out a single folder and handed copies to the board members. "Here's the original property deed, signed by the county recorder. You'll notice the dock parcel number was separated from the HOA land in 2019 after the previous owner declined to renew the lease. I bought it in full, cash." The room went silent. You could almost hear the collective gasp. One of the board members, Mr. Jenkins, the retired accountant, adjusted his glasses. "Karen, he's right. This paperwork's legitimate. We've been paying dock fees to a private owner for 2 years now." Karen's face went red. "That's impossible. I've been managing those funds personally." That made everyone perk up. "Wait," said another neighbor. "You've been handling the dock payments yourself?" I couldn't resist a grin. "Which means," I added, "she's been collecting rent payments from me and paying herself out of HOA funds." What's the word? Oh, yes, embezzlement. The room exploded. People started shouting questions, waving copies of my documents, and demanding Karen explain. She stammered, I was just trying to keep things organized." "By routing payments through your own account?" someone yelled. Karen snatched her papers and bolted out the door, muttering something about talking to her lawyer. The HOA board turned to me. "Mr. Thompson, we owe you an apology," Jenkins said. "We had no idea." I nodded. "Apology accepted. But maybe next time, check who really owns the dock before dialing 911. That night, the neighborhood group chat blew up with memes and jokes about Dock Lord Thompson and Karen's collapse. But the best part? I wasn't done yet. I had one more surprise waiting for her. The morning after the HOA disaster, the lake was calm, but the neighborhood was buzzing. Karen had gone quiet. No emails, no notes, no angry clipboard rounds. It was strange, almost peaceful. I thought maybe she'd learned her lesson. But of course, that was wishful thinking. By Friday, I found a letter slipped under my door. It was printed in bold, angry font. "Cease and desist. Unauthorized commercial activity on HOA property." Apparently, Karen was accusing me of running a business by allowing neighbors to tie up their jet skis at my dock. I chuckled and shook my head. She just couldn't stop. So I decided to end this once and for all. The next weekend, I hosted a dock appreciation BBQ for all the residents. Open invite, free food, live music, and of course, a few boats for anyone who wanted to cruise the lake. Everyone showed up. Everyone except Karen. From my deck, I saw her peeking through her blinds like a villain in a sitcom. Halfway through the party, a few of the HOA board members came over. "We've officially voted to remove Karen from her position," Mr. Jenkins announced, smiling. "After what you revealed, we audited the accounts. Turns out she's been misusing HOA funds for years." The crowd erupted in cheers. Someone yelled, "Long live the Dock Lord!" and the nickname stuck instantly. A few days later, I got a knock at my door. Karen stood there, eyes puffy, no clipboard this time. "I came to apologize," she said stiffly. "I didn't realize you actually owned the dock. I just wanted things to be orderly." I nodded slowly. "Order's good, Karen, but control? That's different," she sighed. "I'm resigning from the HOA. I'll stay out of your way." For once, she actually looked humble. I decided to give her a bit of grace. "Apology accepted," I said. "Just remember, sometimes the person you're yelling at might actually be signing your paycheck." Karen gave a small, embarrassed smile and walked off. By summer's end, the dock had never looked better. New lights, clean slips, and a fresh coat of paint that gleamed at sunset. Neighbors hung out there every weekend, laughing and grilling. And me? I'd sit back in my deck chair, cold drink in hand, watching my boat sway gently on the water, right where it belonged. Sometimes justice doesn't come with police lights or shouting. Sometimes it just takes patience, paperwork, and a little bit of poetic irony. After all, I wasn't just a homeowner anymore. I was the dock lord, and Karen would never forget it.